Have you ever wondered why there are so many women who are single? Have you ever thought about how such a huge number of women still remain single even when we have so many guys trying to get their attention? Does it have something to do with men going their own way, or is it something else? Welcome to Man Reacts, and let's find out the answers to these questions. So, there are many reasons why so many modern women will remain alone. This could range from the woman having too many expectations, zero tolerance for anything but perfection, being actually too intimidating for men, or just not being the right package for men to want them in the first place. Let's go over the first one. In today's world, I wouldn't be surprised if half the single women are actually single because they have too many expectations from men. This is something that you will see across borders in every country and society. Women want a man who is confident. They want a man who is educated. They want a man who is wealthy. They want a man who is 6 feet tall. They want a man who has six-pack abs. They want a man who drives a Mercedes. They want a man who will bring them breakfast in bed. They want a man who will pay for her designer handbags and heels. They want a man who will take them to different parts of the world. They want a man who can finance their education. They want a man who will dress just the way they like. You see where I'm going with this. The list is endless. Women have crazy levels of expectations from men, and believe me, no man can ever live up to these expectations because it's not humanly possible. And what about men? What do they expect in return? They want loyalty, they want peace, they want intimacy, they want friendship, they want someone they can come home to and live a comfortable life with. Do women provide that? Not at all. They're barely loyal. They're anything but peaceful. All they want is whatever they've set their eyes upon, and they want it now. So, it's no wonder men are choosing to go their own way instead. You know, this might work in the office if you're working as a data scientist and your line manager is a woman, but it's not something that's going to work in a relationship. The weird thing is, women don't seem to get that. They still want perfection. As I mentioned in the previous point, they have a huge list of how their man should be. And if a man deviated from one of those things, the woman will definitely end it with him. Just out of curiosity, what's the reason behind this? I guess it has a lot to do with economics. You see, for every 100 women out there in the dating marketplace, there are 10,000 men out there, all trying to get their attention and go out with them. These numbers give women a lot of leverage and power. It gives them the power to choose at their own will, the power to try and experiment, the power to reject, and perhaps it also grants them a false sense of superiority. It makes them think they're in such great demand that they can pick and choose any guy who comes their way. And that's what they do because they have that leverage. From a guy's perspective, that's just dehumanizing because if most women reject them based on inconsequential stuff, such as them not driving a particular car or not having studied at a particular college or university, it just gives them a message that they are replaceable all the time. And when that message is repeated time and time again, any guy worth his salt is bound to outright start rejecting women because there's a lot more to life than women. As a male in the intimacy market, you must realize that today's women have an excessively entitled feeling of self-worth and think they are worth far more than their actual market value. Women find that really difficult. They find it extremely difficult to embrace the possibility that one day they could run into a wall and realize, well, that was an eye-opening experience. They generally come to the realization and say, I need to have fewer expectations at some point. Regardless of how much money women make, they need to have a more realistic idea of their worth in the world. They don't share it with guys. Men are very ignorant if you come to think of it. Men share their resources with women who do not consistently share their pot of wealth with men. They anticipate meeting someone who is more fortunate and of course checks off all these boxes and shares his resources for the rest of their life. But men have had enough of it. As some content creators out here might try and write this off, this is actually true. There are women who are too intimidating for men, and yes, they do come across as overly opinionated or even rigid about everything they believe in. They come across almost as masculine women, which to men is quite a turnoff. You see, if a woman chose to climb the corporate ladder for most of her 20s and her 30s, this means that she basically lived in a kill or be killed sort of corporate world, which can make any person become extremely tough. The problem is, this sort of thinking usually is something that men have, and this corporate world is something that men regularly face at their workplaces. When a woman faces all of that as well, and then suddenly realizes that she has another purpose in life, which is to procreate, and that too, very soon, it just doesn't work out. It doesn't work out because men don't like such women. They don't like women who are all about the corporate world and have totally lost their female qualities. You know, the typical mannerisms that a girl has that all men fall for in their college days. When a woman has the personality of a man, men really don't like such women. They don't want someone who only cares about the business business or making money. Intrinsically, men are providers and they thrive in that environment. They want to be the protectors and they want to be the ones providing security to women and children. When women start doing that, it just creates an imbalance in the dynamic of a typical family. So this is another reason why so many women now are alone and single. Many will say that they're happy being single, but deep down, we all know how they feel. Looking at this from a man's perspective, what is an ideal woman? An ideal woman is someone whom he can enjoy spending time with, someone he can be friends with, someone he can make love to, someone he can have a peaceful life with, someone he can have children with, and someone he can trust to be loyal even when he's not around. I think that covers it. Men want a woman they simply can be with in peace, someone they can build a future with. But what happens is that when men and women of the same age get into relationships, they realize they have different priorities in life and difference in their biological needs and wants. For example, if a man who is 30 years old gets together with a woman who is the same age, he will undoubtedly be told by the woman that she wants to have children immediately. This is because as they hit their 30s, most women realize they're nearing the end of their biological clock, which means they're at that age when having children is only going to become harder and harder from a biological point of view. So when that happens, they start pressurizing their partners to have children. And the men who are their partners are at that stage in their lives where they finally started to make some money. They finally started to have a slight sense of stability from a financial point of view. This is the time when they want to have some fun and enjoy being men, which means they'd rather spend that time with women who also want to have that fun. Problem is, for them, at that age and stage, the ideal woman is in her 20s. She's in her prime, at the peak of her fertility, and someone who isn't panicking about life, and is someone these men can enjoy living and being with. So all of this creates an imbalance that makes it harder for women to find guys as they age, because guys understand that to be with an older woman means more pressure and more responsibility to settle down and build a family, while they can do all of that with a younger and more beautiful woman in her prime who still has the personality of a female. So this is another uncomfortable truth about why so many women will remain single and alone even in today's world. What do you guys think? Are there any other reasons? Let me know in the comments. And if you liked the video, please hit the like button and the bell icon to subscribe for more content from your